I don't understand. I don't know if Dusty has sound of the president to capture some of what he's been saying about Ukraine, but I literally, this isn't TV feigned confusion. I don't know what he's trying to do here.
All right, I do.
He has called Zelensky a dictator.
Right.
And kind of suggested he started the war and that Russia fought hard for the land that they took from Ukraine, so they should get to keep it.
It's not quite that way. So what Trump wants to do, and I said this even before he was elected, is he wants a ceasefire above all. He knows that he has to flatter Putin to get that ceasefire. That's where you start. He has to flatter Putin. Putin is evil. On the cover of my upcoming book, Confronting Evil, there's bad blood right next to the Ayatollah Khomeini and Mao Zedong and Hitler's on the other side. Vlad is evil, but Trump wants to deal with the evil merchant. So he has to do two things: butter him up, which he's doing, and tell the world that Zelensky's not so hot and that Ukraine could have stopped this before it started. You remember Trump going, if I were president, the war never would have started, right? How many times did he say that? 100,000 times? It's true.
100 times.
Okay?
What's
because
true?
Trump would have forced Zelensky to give some concessions. Here's a story that hasn't been, he would have, believe me, because without the United States' $300 billion, Zelensky can't wage war. Anyway, this story has not been reported widely, but Putin just gave a massive concession to Ukraine. Putin says, I don't care whether they go into the EU. They can join the EU.
Just not NATO.
Right. But the EU is everything to Ukraine. If you want to rebuild it, you have to be in the EU. Currency, trade, open borders, everything. Putin gave that up. He didn't give it up to Biden. He gave it up. So you got to, again, pull back and see the big picture. Trump is going to flatter little rocket man. He's going to flatter anybody. And then when they finally get the deal, who's going to be the greatest guy in the world? Zelensky. He's going to be the greatest guy in the world. You wait and see.
What do you think, Stephen?
But that's one way to look at it. Here's the other, Bill O'Reilly. We know Putin's reputation to the rest of the world, particularly here in the United States of America. Former KGB, obviously has been accused of doing some very, very dastardly and treacherous things that we don't need to belabor getting into. Not only has he done that, but it's obviously, it's considered an enemy of the United States to some degree. Trump praises the very, very dude that most Americans have been sold on being a very evil individual who's committed to doing things that are not in the best interest of to expand Russian territory, one would surmise, along with various other things. There's no question about it.
Why is Trump praising Putin? Why
is Trump? Well, again, he wants to put an end to the war.
Yeah,
that's true, and he wants to look like the hero in order to do so.
He wants a deal.
But he wants the deal. But in the process... But wait a minute, Bill. You've got a guy in Zelensky who America, for the most part, not just Democrats, but Republicans to some degree have supported when it came to Zelensky and getting that $300+ billion, okay? And because that's been a reality that they've been willing to accept, all of a sudden Trump arrives in office, and now he's basically indicated the money's going to dry up. We're not interested in supporting you at all in any way.
That's a different... If Putin doesn't make a deal, if Putin doesn't make a deal, Trump will be his worst enemy. But this is how Trump rolls.
No, he won't. No, he won't.
Yeah, everybody thinks there's this bromance, or whatever they call it.
He has never said a bad word about the guy.
He doesn't care about him. He just wants it to calm down. That's it. You think he's got emotion invested in Putin? That's the last thing on his mind.
Everybody who's ever dealt with Putin, and you know this, you've talked to dozens of them over the years. They all say, what? One way to deal with Putin, strength. Let him know that if he wants to fight, you're ready to fight. Trump knows he's not going to get a ceasefire unless he makes Putin look good. That's what he knows.
But Putin's on the other side, and he's saying he's calling Zelensky a dictator.
That's right.
And Ukraine was the one that was attacked. Any issue with that, Bill?
I don't have
any issue with that?
Look, it's not true, and that's my issue. But if I'm at the table, if I'm Marco Rubio, am I all upset because Lavrov, the foreign minister of Russia, said, oh, we like that. Say bad things about Zelensky. And Rubio goes, okay, Just make the deal.
Look,
as I said,
what we
if they
disagree
make the
about-
deal, Zelensky will go on a worldwide tour.
I don't think
Trump will
Zelensky-
buy him new T-shirts, new fatigues.
Why do you?
He'll do all of that.
Why do you believe Zelensky can sell that deal to his people?
He doesn't have to.
They are fighting with their lives over there.
Yes, and they're
now
very
they're gonna
brave.
give territory to the
And
bad guys?
Zelensky's brave.
He is
and they're
brave.
very brave.
They are brave.
But they're not going to defeat Russia. They're not. And everyone knows that. And the polling in Ukraine, I don't even know how you take a poll in Ukraine, says that most people just want it to stop. And that's what Trump is trying to do.